everyone, welcome to Mystery Club with me. I'm Bongkut. For today, I'm choosing a story that many people have probably heard before for sure, because they are the legendary criminal couple, Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde were pretty looking people, but I can tell you people they were the devil's children. Bonnie and Clyde.
Back to the 1929 to 1939s, which was called the Great Depression, with the economic downturn is causing trouble for many people around the world, especially who is life from hand to mouth. This made many people angry with the government for not being able to solve this problem for them, until leading to the story of criminal couple that born from the economic downturn at that time. Bonnie and Clyde, they have been committing crimes continuously for 2 years, from 1932 to 1934. And before I tell you their deeds, let's get to know them better. Bonnie, or Bonnie Parker, she was born on October 1st, 1910 in Jovena, Texas. She is the child of Henry and Emma Parker, which her family status is quite good, until Henry, or Bonnie's father, died suddenly in 1914, causing Emma to move her children to live with their grandmother. Emma had to work hard so she doesn't have time to take care of Bonnie. Until Bonnie was 16, she dropped out of school and married with Roy Thornton. And because of Roy, he had robbed before, so he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for burglary, but they weren't divorced. Then, Bonnie went to work waiting for her husband, but eventually she lost her job because of the economic poisoning at the time. Clyde, or Clyde Barrow, he was born on March 24th, 1909 in Tellico, Texas. He was the sixth of 8 children of Henry and Cami Barrow. Bell family was a farmer. They often have insufficient finances to support their children. Until Clyde was 12, his family moved to West Dallas to start a gas station business. There, both Clyde and his older brother, Buck Barrow, have a bad record of breaking the law, such as car theft. Bonnie and Clyde, they are met for the first time in 1930s, and they felt some kind of attraction towards each other. And because Clyde was already a thief and being caught all the time, he was arrested, and his lover Bonnie was very upset. So she helped Clyde escape from prison. Clyde killed the guard and escaped. He was arrested again just a week later, leading him to a 14 years prison sentence at Eastham Prison Farm, the largest prison in the United States at the time. To be in the prison was very bad, more than he can bear. So he planned to have Ray Hamilton, one of his fellow prisoners, use an axe to cut off his toe for him to be moved to another place. And in February 1932, he was released prematurely, but not because of the story he created, but because of the prisoners overflowed the prison. Then he returned to Bonnie again, but because it was during the Great Depression, Clyde, he went back to plunder again. But this time, it wasn't just him and his brother, but Ray Hamilton, W.D. Jones, and Buck Barrow's wife, Blanche Barrow, as well as Bonnie, who formed the Barrow Gang, and this was the beginning of this criminal couple. From the information that I have studied, Their heist targets were often gas stations, small shops, to local banks, which they will take turns robbing. There was one time when Bonnie and Clyde went on a robbery together. Clyde was the one to rob and had Bonnie watch in the car, but the police arrived before they could finish the robbery, causing Bonnie to be arrested by the police, and Clyde managed to escape in time. But Bonnie was eventually released for lack of evidence. Later, Clyde and Hamilton went on another robbery in April 1932, but they shot and killed the owner of the shop until they had a violent argument and split up. When Bonnie finds out about this, Clyde promises her that he won't let us go back to jail. From now on, their lives have changed. 2 years later that they escaped arrest and robbery, Bonnie and Clyde became a complete criminal. They plundered throughout Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Louisiana, and New Mexico. They are often hide near the borders of each state because the police won't be able to track criminals across the border. And the police still don't know that Bonnie and Clyde have often returned to their families. But this secret meeting with their family almost caused them to murder legally by the police, who ambushed several times. But why did they become famous and popular? That's because it was in March 1933 that police raided the battle gang's hideout until the collision caused the death of 2 police officers. And even if they were able to escape, but when searching for the place, there is also a lot of information and photographs of Bonnie and Clyde, such as where Clyde holds Bonnie in one arm. Then, when these images were published, society is in and out of love with the relationship of this couple, until false rumors followed. For example, they robbed only the rich and the bank, although most of their victims were small shops. And from these false rumors, they became heroes in the eyes of the ordinary people in this recession era. But on the other hand, the government saw them as a dangerous group. After that incident, they had to flee for many months until in June that same year. While fleeing from the police, they had an accident. The car lost its balance and fell into the river under the bridge. Everyone was safe except Bonnie, whose leg was burned and is not to be the same anymore. A month later, the Barrow Gang resided in nearby Missouri, and on July 19 of the same year, the police also received clues from villagers in the area. When the officers arrived, clashes erupted until Buck was shot in the head, and it got really bad. So Clyde told everyone to go to garage, but the police intercepted it until the glass shot into one of eye bunches, but they managed to escape. Clyde, he drove everyone to escape all night. They were only resting to change bandages and ties at Dexter, Iowa, but this caused them to be found again. From the clues that the villagers informed as a result, on July 24th, more than 100 police officers and soldiers surrounded their hideout. When Bonnie saw the police, she screamed loudly. Clyde and Jones then took a weapon and fired at the officers. Buck, that was injured, he could hardly fight with the officers, causing him to be shot several times. His wife, Blanche, she wept beside him and let the other escape first. On his way to fleeing, Clyde he was shot in the arm, but both him, Bonnie, and Jones were able to drive away, but their car crashed into a tree, so they stole another car and managed to escape. A few days later, Buck died and Blanche was captured. Bonnie and Clyde's legs were planted. Although the Barrow gang survived 3 of them this time, but Jones was afraid he might not survive the next time, so he separated. In November of the same year, Jones was arrested and testified to police about the Barrow gang. Let the police know how to deal with Bonnie and Clyde, along with a plan to trap them. When Bonnie and Clyde contacted their family, the police were already aware of the matter. This gave the police a chance to attack both of them. But this time, they still managed to survive. But Clyde was furious because this time his family had to take risks. Then he waited to help his old friend, Hamilton, break out of the same prison he had previously been in, because he was arrested after separating from the gang. To flout the officers for being the most heavily guarded prison in the United States, Clyde was still able to help a friend break out of the jail, and there were also other prisoners, and one of whom is Henry Matwin, and he became the last member of the Barrow gang. But after that, Hamilton he parted ways from the gang again, and he was murdered recklessly by officers during the escape. And the end of Bonnie and Clyde is near when Henry's father is a late cop in exchange for his son's clemency. Because Henry and his father were always talking about everything, even the case that if the Barrow gang would miss each other, everyone would meet at Henry's father's farm. And then they did miss each other. On May 23, 1934, during that escape, they stopped by the gas station and let Henry go down to buy food alone. But suddenly, a police car drove in. Started Bonnie and Clyde drove off immediately, leaving Henry at the gas station. Henry couldn't find Bonnie and Clyde, so he contacted his father that they missed each other and he is going to the farm. When his father found out, he immediately notified the officers. Then the officers parked Henry's father's truck, blocking a road that Bonnie and Clyde was expected to pass. Because if they saw Henry's father's car, they will definitely have to stop and come down to check. And as the officials expect, Bonnie and Clyde drove through this road, and when they saw Henry's father's car, they slowed down. When the car starts to slow down, officers immediately opened fire on them. Both of them didn't respond on the official side at all because of being hit by more than 130 bullets, causing Bonnie and Clyde to die instantly. Finally, Bonnie and Clyde's tale of crime couple is over. I hope everyone who has listened to the end enjoyed the story that I'm telling you. And thanks for the great information from Jennifer Rosenberg's article. For today, Mr. Club would like to say goodbye and meet the exciting story in the next episode. See you later.